Kitty. Kitty, kitty. Oh, hello. Do you think that Big Brother is watching? Or that the Illuminati is planning to take over the world? Have you had an encounter with a space alien today? Well, if the answer to that question is yes, then grab your hat. This is tinfoil hat time. Woohoo! Had my hat on backwards there. I don't know if you saw that in the introduction, but I rolled that hat up there backwards. Gotta set the thing on the desk just right to make that occur, but that's an intriguing thing. Well, greetings, everybody. Let's see. I see Ryan's online. I don't know who else is online yet. Let's see. Found a tick on my cat's eye today. We can't get it off because it's that small. Ooh, that's not cool. Like, poke at it with a big old hot needle. Wait, hold on. Don't do that. That'd be bad. Hi, Dylan. How are you? I just received a notification for the stream. Oh, the irony. Yes. What the irony. What the irony indeed. What the irony indeed. Yes, we are going to be talking about notifications today on this stream. And it is going to be a fascinating discussion. And it looks like, is my title right? Yeah, my title, there it goes. Now my title's right. I was like, I know I updated the title there. Sometimes it's gotta, I didn't process it a couple times. Sometimes you gotta do that. Yeah, that would hurt the cat. Getting a tick off a cat, if it's that small, you might, let's see. And if it's that small, it's one you definitely want to get off. It is the smaller ticks that carry the bad stuff. Yeah, I'd probably say, just, maybe very small tweezers might get it off. Liam Dorsey got another notification for the stream. Woohoo! Yes, we are getting notifications of the stream about being at the mercy of notifications. And I'm not going to make the total argument that all notifications are bad. What I'm going to make the argument is that we need to be cautious with the notifications, etc. Hello, Christopher. I can finally be here from the beginning. All right, that's cool. We have not even really gotten into the topic yet. Once again, I did not do an article for this. What I decided to do today, instead of sitting in front of a computer and writing an article, is I actually sat down today and I started and finished a book. As I was dropping off books to the community library this week, I encountered a copy of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Haven't read it in a while, a little short book. And so I picked it up and I started it and finished it today. And it was totally awesome to just disconnect, read a book, no notifications popping up, well, other than a few text messages, but that's okay. But I was able to just sit down, read a book, no technology. It was just the nicest, calmest, most relaxing afternoon I think I've had in a long time. Highly recommend it. Find a good book and stop and read it for a few hours. That was a great thing. Hello, Envon. How are you? All right. So I did not do a article here. Excuse me. Hold on. I got notifications. I got to deal with them. Jeez. I'm telling you. All right. So, basically, where was I? Yeah, okay. Anyway, I wasn't working on an article there, so you won't find an article on this topic, but hopefully the video will be pretty cool. If you do want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon. Oh, it looks like Kitty wants to come up. Hi, everybody. Go support Switch Linux on Patreon. He rocks. So, Kitty wants to come over and say hello. All right, notification on the tinfoil hat. Yeah, I got to put a notification up there. Oh, go on. All right. So, basically, what we're going to do here is talk about notifications. And wow, I'm almost prepared. See, I have my notes. I just didn't have them right over here. Only a couple text messages. You're lucky. I get every hour, I get like 20 email notifications just from YouTube. Yeah, I disable YouTube. Actually, I don't even stay logged in on any mobile devices. And then we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that very exact thing because that is something that is quite critical. And to tell you the reason why I'm doing this particular talk, it ended up being on the top of my list there. On my tinfoil hat board. There's a few different ones that I wanted to do today, and most of them I really wanted to wait until a good friend of mine cannot be here today, but he gave me the motivation to do this one because as a student he had to do some schoolwork and being on a Chromebook, so he's on Chrome doing all this, and he goes into a website and his Chrome apparently is automatically now connecting notifications onto the thing. Oh, excuse me, I got a notification. Hold on. I got a text message, like a notification about some Kim Kardashian. Wow, yeah, Kim Kardashian's wearing something interesting. Yeah, that's wow, fascinating. Anyway, now he's getting pop-up next text notifications on all of these on all of the websites that he was just browsing them one time just to do research for a school report. And that's kind of the craziness. He's telling me about this, like, now all of a sudden I'm getting notifications. So we're going to talk about that trend. Hello, Ni. How are you? All right. So what we're going to do, I think, let's see, and there's three basic areas we're going to look at notifications. Maybe we could do a few more, but three basic areas have to do mostly with your browsers. So actually, before we even get into that, I want to talk a little bit about just notifications in general. Now, they kind of started on the mobile devices. It might make more sense to do some of the talking about some of the things on the mobile first. But what I did here is I found a couple of articles, and there we go. All right, found a couple of articles here, and so the first article I wanted to have a quick look at is the zombification from notifications. This is like, and stop and think about this. Zombification, lobotomies, notifications. What do these have in common? Well, they all give people an empty blank stare with total blind obedience to the message. Even the book today I read, which is Of Mice and Men, you have George and Lenny. And Lenny is this massively huge guy who has the brain of a child, and he could kill you, but he would do absolutely anything that George says to do. And that's kind of where we are at the mercy of... excuse me, I got more notifications. Oh, yeah, ransomware is running wild. Check it out. Oh, wow. Hold on. I got to check out this website. Hold on. I just got a notification for a website. It looks fascinating. It's on InfoWars. Cool. It's going to drive me like... I'm going to go mad. That guy just creeps me out. 75,000. Oh, I'm sorry. Where were we at? I'm sorry. So basically, we're looking here at the zombification, and you walk around and how many times do you pick up your phone just because it beeped on a notification? So in my research, what I found is that people look at their phone, I think it's an average of 110 or 115 times a day. And then I started to ask how many apps are on the average phone. And so what I did is I want to do a little bit of research, like how many apps does the average person install, how many notifications does the average app do, etc., etc. So this guy here, looking at zombification from notifications, how do we fix the problem of too many alerts? Well, I'll tell you what my solutions are at the end, but right now, rules are not the answer. They're talking about the apps that do things like, if your GPS indicates you're traveling over a certain speed, it will not send anything. It'll just send all that stuff right, to voicemail, etc. Willpower is not the answer. It's like, well, I don't know, maybe not. Contextual awareness alone. They're talking about OS level mindfulness can be the answer. Balderdash. That's not the correct. That's like, this is just like a kind of advertisement for the entire concept of operating system based notifications that we will talk about a little bit later. All right, so that's kind of that. inside view, how consumers really feel about push notifications. How do you guys feel? Tell me in the comments. How do you guys feel about notifications, push notifications? Because what they find is over 50% of app users find push notifications annoying. Which, by the way, means 50% find them okay and useful. So I wanted to delve into that and understand that a little bit more. So 52% simply say push notifications are annoying and distracting. 26% say grateful. They alert me to things I'm interested in. I think that that's the same percentage of people that in Dave Ramsey's course on Financial Peace University, I'm not going to grab that out, but on Dave Ramsey's course where he talks about, like 76% of the people are living paycheck to paycheck and 26% of the people are worried about it. And I totally made up those percentages. He tells them exactly what they are. And it's just very comical that a much smaller percentage of the people are concerned about being messing with my cables down there. All right. So 20% find that they are productivity enhancing. So they relay important and timely information that does not require you launching a new app. And I think that that's kind of the distinction between maybe this 52% that are finding them annoying and distracting are looking at different app notifications than are the ones saying it's important and important information. Okay, so for example, when I'm working and I have my Windows 7 computer up and Outlook is running all day with email, it's very handy for me when an email pops up, I can see real quick a very brief summary. And it's like if it's a YouTube email, it just gets ignored for a while. If it's a client email, I go over there and... What? Leave my stuff alone. No. The cat is playing with stuff on my shelf. Chill out. Yeah, you. Jeez. Anyway, so the I can see really quickly if it's something that is important that I need to work with or not based upon that. But that's kind of that. So anyway, that's kind of what they're saying. So let's see here. We got oh, excuse me, I got a notification. Current detests the limits of physics are going to open a black hole or something. Cool. Guys, you know that current's going to open a black hole or something? No, wait, hold on. I think I'm in the middle of something. I'm sorry. Let's see. So, instead of duck, use Ecosia at this point. Yeah, so Ecosia was one of the search engines I found the other day I was talking about. So, they use Bing as their search engine model, and they plant trees, apparently, when you are doing search with them. So... Ryan says annoying as hell for notifications. I don't have notifications. Yes, I'm with you. There's very few things I have notifications. I'll talk to you about that. Search engine is better than you and you are planting trees. Okay, so that's a Koja. Yep. I usually look for an option to disable notifications on apps that I know I'll check out occasionally. Firefox crashed out of nowhere. Uh-oh. Your Firefox? My Firefox? My Firefox is looking okay. Hi, Carrie. How are you? Push notifications are useful, but too many applications use them unnecessarily. Mobile games have to be the biggest culprit. Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're the absolute biggest culprit because I don't turn on any notifications other than text messages. So, and Skype. I allow Skype to annoy me too. I enjoy DuckDuckGo personally. If you like Ecosia, that's wonderful. All right. So, this is, the number of people that find application, useful notifications. So there's a lot of different things. Now this company here, or this website here, is kind of a marketing website. All right. Too many notifications are making smartphones unusable. This was a fascinating thing. So this was just looking at the number of notifications that are coming down, and this was the thing that I kind of came to that realization of, was that right before I sent the Galaxy back, I did a hard reset of it just to make sure that there wasn't anything in the hardware or in the software that was causing the problems. And I never did any customization after I did that. And that thing, like every 12 hours, was like some new notification for something I never touched. I don't know what it was. It's crazy. I've used Ecosia, but search results are terrible, worse than Bing. Well, it's based on Bing, so it's non-anonymized Bing. I don't know what it is. All right. Working phone is without Google services, which is good. All right, yeah, kill Google services. All right, so that's kind of that. What we're going to look at here, we're going to talk first about browsers, and then we're going to look at operating systems, and we're going to look at mobile. So browsers, your top browsers recently, Chromium, Chrome, Firefox, and probably other ones, they started pushing something back in 2000, I think it was late 2015, maybe early 2016, where now a website can send you push notifications. This is awesome because like I can literally log in here on Facebook and not even be checking. Like I could be totally addicted to Facebook. It's kind of like the alcoholic, just not, oh, hold on, I got a notification, excuse me. All right. So anyway, I could. It's like suppose you're an alcoholic and you're sitting here. You got like you're getting your productive workday done. The thought hasn't even rung in your mind yet to go get that drink. But as soon as you see some beer ad, you're like, I got to go get the drink now. Well, this is like Facebook with how addicted we are to this social media platform or other things like it. It's like, okay, I'm working, I'm busy, I'm on the site. I pulled up Firefox or Chrome, whatever I'm using, just to get some work done. I'm not even thinking about Facebook right now. Boom, I get a Facebook Facebook addiction. And that's the problem. That's the problem. All right. So the problem is that notifications is the site's way, the marketer's way, the advertiser's way, the owners of the website's way to keep you drawn in even when you are not thinking about it. Okay. And that's really ultimately the thing, is that we need to make certain that we are not allowing ourselves to be pulled in an opposite direction. So once again, another Dave Ramsey statement that he says frequently, and it's very true. He says that adults devise a plan and follow it, and children do what feels good. Okay, we should be living our day intentionally. Go through your life intentionally doing things. Intentional. What a notification does is it causes an immediate distraction onto something that is not all that important. So, one of the best books I've ever read is by Stephen Covey, and it's called First Things First. And this is a fabulous book on time management. And this is where he kind of sets up your quadrants. And he looks at the quadrants. Let me see if I can find a quick chart of his 4 quadrants here, because it's just a fascinating thing. Let's see if there's an appendix back here. So he talks about, quadrant 1 items which are important and are urgent. Like, the house is on fire. We have got, it's important and urgent that we stop whatever we're doing and we put the fire out. Okay. Then he talks though about things. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So quadrant 1, there's the picture there. Quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 are not urgent items. So these are things that need done. They are important, but they are not urgent. They need done, but they just don't need done right this second. You need to plan when you do these things. And then quadrant 3 are not important, but urgent things. So some phone calls, interruptions, some mail, some reports, some meetings, many proximate pressing matters, and many popular activities fall under quadrant 3, which are urgent items, but not important. And then quadrant 4 are not important, not urgent. Trivial, busy work, some phone calls, time wasters, escape activities, irrelevant mail, and excessive television. Those are what he's calling as non-important and non-urgent. The problem is, all of these notifications are urgent, which means it pulls you away from what you had planned on doing. It moves you from your plan to what feels good. And I'm going to use, quote, what feels good to some urgent thing, like a notification. Ooh, something, I got to check that. No. Do you really have to check it? It's just like if this thing rings, I do not have to pick it up. I do not have to pick it up. All right? So that's kind of the thing. that we need to keep that kind of stuff in mind. I'm going to leave that out so I can remember to put a link to that book in the video notes. All right, so but that's kind of what we're looking at. So with the browsers, what they started to do is allowing blogs and services and websites and things to start sending you push notifications so that you could now get in there and be informed of changes, updates, new products in a store, whatever else they want you to do. Those are the types of things that that you need to keep in mind there. That we want to make sure we are not living at the mercy of somebody who their objective with the notification is not just to keep you in the good trend. Their objective with the notification is to keep you locked into their service. And you have to make that decision. Do you want to be locked into that service or not? So for me, I do actually have a Facebook account, and I think I logged in there a couple weeks ago. In fact, Deb, I just got your email on Facebook the other day. Yeah, thanks. I forgot what it was already, but I did get it the other day. I did get it. So that was fun. But other than that, I do not need a bar up here to drive me into Facebook to waste more time. I will find the times. It's the same thing with, I check a couple of news sites throughout the week so I can gather things for the Friday Night Live news shows. Okay, but I do not need any of those things to pop up. I want to check those sites on my time, on my terms, on my plan. Period. And that's the problem with notifications. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how you can disable your notifications, all right, on your browser. So let me find my scene. Let me just go with the screen cap only. There we go. All right, so on Firefox, this is kind of how you do it. Disabling all site notifications requires you to go into the about config. So you just want to type in about:config. All right. Yes, accept the risk, blah, blah, blah. This is where you can do all sorts of fun things. Now, there's two things you want to type in here. The webno is what you want to type in, and then allow it to filter. And then these are web notifications, which will show you what they are. So you want to get rid of DOM web notifications service worker enabled and DOM web notifications enabled. Basically, you need to come over here, find those. Here's one of them. Right here, you can see the value says true. This means that they are going to show. So double click this. This thing will never pop up a notification again. All right, and then I'm going to do that on this one over here. Now on Firefox, while you're in here, go ahead and type in geo, because geo enabled, this guy here is where it will track down your locations from. I'm going to crash the ability to track down where I am. Now there's no more notifications to track down where I'm at. Wait, I have a notification. Uh-oh. Sorry, and I... Some notifications aren't bad. Like, I don't want Firefox to tell me notifications, okay? Like, it's the same thing with YouTube. If I want to see what's going on YouTube, I can log into the website and it will show me the notifications I have. All right. It's the stream. Okay. Is my stream about at the mercy of notifications sending you notifications too? All right. So that's how to do it here. Let's boot up a Chromium. Now, Chrome and Chromium are going to be the same. And what you're going to do in Chrome or Chromium is you want to come over here, click on your three bars, come down to Settings. Now you need to come down to Show Advanced Settings. You want to see Privacy and click Content Settings, and then come down here and you want to, in fact, this one here, I should actually block third-party cookies. I don't mind first-party necessarily. And then let's see, down here under Location, I want do not allow any site to track my location. I'm not talking about location today, but while we're in here, we may as well turn those off. And then here, do not allow any sites to show me any of the notifications. So now your Chrome and Chromium will never tell you about notifications. You can turn all those guys off. And over here, we have disabled it in Firefox. Now, if there are some sites you actually do want those notifications for, you can manage those up here. This little eye guy up here show the information. If you were showing any permissions, like any showing notifications, it would be up here. So you can click that. And the other place, if I remember, is down here into your preferences, into your content and notifications. You can come down here. Like, I have no idea. Oh, okay, I must have blocked this website at some point in time. But here you can set these to show sites, or you can set them to block sites. So you can do that over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all sites because I set this thing to never give me pop-up notifications again. So, hey, that's great. All right. So that's kind of your web browsers, how your web browsers tend to work. All right. So with that, that is your browsers. Now, the next thing I want to think about is operating systems, because now it's become the cool and trendy things to do in operating systems to give you notifications. Oh boy. Oh boy. What's something hard I can hit my head on? Of course, that first article was talking specifically about that. It was talking specifically about how you can unify all your notifications. Now, I looked at a few different things. First, Windows 10. You know that Windows 10 will give you notifications self-promoting their own services? It's kind of like that annoying self-promoter on Facebook. He's always promoting his new small business where every single thing that he has is something about himself. It's like, hey, watch me, hey, watch me, hey, look at this, hey, watch me, hey, look at me. Well, that's Windows 10. It's like, you'll be sitting there doing some work, all of a sudden you get a notification, Windows 10, you look down, it's like, try Cortana, she can help you out. No, I'd rather not activate the Eye of Sauron, thank you. But anyway, you know, that's that. Brick, that's a good hard thing. I found a good hard thing to whap my head on right there. There's a good hard thing to whap my head on. Can I whap my head on you? No? You got a soft belly though, don't you? Yes, you do. You got a soft belly. He's got too soft a belly. I can't hit my head on him. But anyway. There you go. Oh yeah. Kitty likes under the chin. All right. Anyway, back to this. Windows 10, it will give you annoying notifications, self-promoting its own things, and that's kind of annoying. And then I looked at Piggy Uniform. Man, you're pretty late. Oh, now are you on to Debian now? Oh, hold on. All right. So, yeah, sorry, Piggy Uniform. You missed the talk about browsers and how to disable notifications on Chrome, Chromium, and Firefox. And if you can disable those on other browsers, I did not look into any of those. But, yep. All right. And we also missed me talking about Windows 10 self-promoting itself through its own apps and notifications. Apple notifications. On there, it behaves very much like a smartphone, where you can get in and you can set. So, like depending on your phone, you can set on the iPhone. You set them in the notifications in the settings, so you can decide what notifications you want. And then on an Android, you can set those from inside the app. I believe is where you set it from inside the Android. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But the Apple behaves much the same way it does on the iPhone. Each individual program capable of setting notifications, you can toggle on or toggle off the notifications right there. Now, Linux behaves a little bit different here. So, what we're doing here on Linux Mint Cinnamon is I can come up into the settings, and on my notifications, you'll notice it does not give me anything about where I can get notifications. I can globally turn off notifications. So if you don't want any notifications on Linux Mint, very easy here. And I did not get the chance to look into any of the other things. Basically, like GNOME, if you're on GNOME or any of the other desktop environments, is there a centralized place to control your your individual notifications? What you can do is on the individual applications in Linux. So if I pull up Kden Live here, if I come under my settings, I can configure notifications here. And so rendering is finished. You'll see it shows a message and pop up. I can also have it play a sound, log a file, do a taskbar entry, or I can run a command. Literally, I could create a shell script command here and spam my screen with things. Blah, your thing's done! Ah! That'd be awesome. All right. Of course, ready to capture. Here's the frame is captured, an error. And so rendering started and ready and rendering finished. Those will give me a pop-up notification inside of OBS. Excuse me, inside of my notification center from OBS. Let's see. I don't think I have Thunderbird set up for anything. Let me go ahead and. Okay. I did not look at all of the applications to see where everything is. I'm assuming that I'm going to find anything that can deal with notifications. I'm going to have a similar thing, although I have not looked for it in other places. So here, let's see. So here's show an alert. So these are not going to show in the configurations, I think, but you can look at each individual app there. All right. We have a quick look here at comments. Let me turn on my comment stream. For some reason, my Windows 10 computer, which I only use for gaming, opens OneDrive every time I'm about to save a file. I haven't found a way to disable that. Yeah, good luck with that. I think you can look online for a registry hack to disable OneDrive. I hate OneDrive. It drives me mad. I got Debian to work fine, or Wi-Fi. All right. Trying to get update on F-Droid on my phone. Can't get Debian to work on any PC I have. Huh, that's sad. Yeah, Debian's pretty fun. There is one on KDE. Yeah, KDE's notification center is fairly complex, but it does exist and it's all in one location. So that's kind of good, and you can set the various stream of applications. Now in GNOME, you probably have to install an extension or disable notifications. I think on TweakTool, there is the option to disable notifications entirely. I was looking to see if there's a place like on the Mac, and I don't remember if Windows 10 has or not, but I know on the Mac you can go in there and set where the individual notification comes from. Like you can set which applications have access to do notifications. Switched to Debian because I actually liked it, because Wi-Fi was not working. Linux Mint too slow. Finally, after many attempts, got Wi-Fi to work by following firmware. Ah, cool. Where can I get a switch to Linux shirt like mine? You know what? This is a one of a kind, actually. I'll price and see what it would cost me to get, if not these. Like this is a $30 shirt. And I bought it down. There's a local guy that makes shirts. I bought one of these and I bought two for my other business from him. So I have things to wear around. So this is for the video. The other one's to wear around town when I do business stuff around town. But I could probably do something cheaper with a silk screen on a standard t-shirt, probably get the cost down to 15 or so. I'd have to see. I'd have to see what I can do. I wanted to do like black coffee cups with the logo, but those just ended up being too expensive. I don't know. I'm looking around at it. I can't front end the cost of products right now to do stuff. So maybe I'll add that to like if I get a certain level on Patreon, I can do that or something. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Last comment. I removed all Google services from my working phone and replaced them with DuckDuckGo, alternative search engine, Firefox, alternative browser, and F-Droid, alternative app store. Yeah, I've never tried the F-Droid, but I know when I was running the Android, I used Firefox with Start Page is what I used for that. Uh-oh, I'm getting... Okay, my stream health dropped down for a second there. It seems to be back up though. I'm like, no! All right. All right, so we looked at the browsers. We looked at the operating systems. Now let's have a quick look at the mobiliness. All right, so FYI, just for fun, I actually told a friend of mine to text me every little bit at the beginning just to make a point about how annoying notifications are for everybody else. So that's why my phone was going off. Usually I silence it and set it over here, so if you're texting me, I don't get it. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Let's see. Use custom ink for the promo shirts. Oh, I'll look into that. Let me grab a pen. So custom ink. How much money you get from Patreon per month? Right now, $9. So pretty much nothing. But I'm very thankful for the one patron, and he does. I mean, I don't do nearly as much as I need to. I need to do a lot more on Patreon. But I do have a behind the scenes recording last week's outdoor philosophy. And there's a few other things that I had fully intended to get some of the initial stuff for the cooking channel on Patreon. But yeah, that didn't happen this week. All right. So mobile, onto mobile. So mobile will include your phones. It will include your tablets, anything else running a mobile iOS or like a mobile device. So I have the iPhone, I have an iPad, I have an Android tablet floating around. So with those, of course, those are the biggest offenders. Those are the things where you get the most discussions surrounding the notifications. You know, our phone does more than it really ever has with us, and so we do check it a lot. We check it a lot because it bings, it beeps, it blips, it does bing bong. You know, it kind of sounds like that. You know that. Is it Winslow? What's his name? That does all the sound effects guy that do all the sound effects. So, you know, you get that kind of stuff going. And really, with that being said, on the phone, what I like to do is on all my phones, I keep notifications turned off with the sole exceptions. If you call me, it comes through and gives me a notification on the screen. Okay, if you text me, I get the notification. I allow Skype to send notifications, and I allow just one of my email accounts to beep one time when an email comes in. That's all I do for notifications on a phone. Tablets, no notifications. My tablet is not allowed to inform me what's going on. The tablet is entirely at my own thing. But with the phone, you keep the phone around for some of the things. Like if I get an email, I sometimes want to check it, but I want it to be there enough that if I get the time, I can check into it, but I don't have to. If I get a text message, I want to read it right away. I want to at least have a quick look at it. If I get a phone call, obviously, yes, I want to do that. So I have all that kind of stuff going on, but nothing else. There are no other apps. Now, I also looked at this, and one of the marketing things said that if you push between 3 to 5 apps or 3 to 5 notifications on your application per week, that's probably okay. But your average person will actually install up to 26 apps on their phone. So splitting the 3 to 5 average of 4, that means a person could very feasibly get 104 notifications per week or 15 notifications per day, not including phone calls, text messages, and all that other kind of stuff. So with all that being said, that's what you do on your mobile phones, is you keep every notification turned off except those very, 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 very few things that you have to keep turned on. All right. So let's see. Okay, you have a Skype account. Yes, I do have a Skype account. As a Microsoft hater, when did you have a Skype account? I have had a Skype account since way before Microsoft owned Skype, and the reason I still have a Skype account is because I am a front-end UI UX web developer who works with people all over the country. And ergo, I have to be able to have conversations, and there are other services out there, and don't bother telling to me all of these other services, because I have to be where people are at. And it's too hard of a barrier to say, use Jitsi or use Ovu or use whatever X services or whatever else, because my average small business client has a Skype account, but they don't have or know how to use all of the other services. So I use Skype for that only. So as far as the Skype account, it is allowed to access this phone. It is allowed to access my Mac. And I do have it installed on 2 of the Linux computers. It only gets enabled over there if I need to. So that's why I have it. And actually, I do not even have an official Microsoft account tied into that, because I have had the account for so long. Meaning, I actually cannot log into it on one of these Skype apps easily. I have to work through that. Which it works perfectly fine on the iPhone. I don't remember if it works correctly on the Android. It does not work on a Windows 10 Skype application. The Skype app from the store can't install. I can't run that because it's not attached to a Microsoft account. It wants you to attach it to a Microsoft account. And I'm like, no, not doing that. So that's kind of that. I wish I had Android KDE Connect because I'm not always at my phone. Yeah, KDE Connect is pretty cool, but I still think the iPhone's a better phone than the Android. Way easier to control. So, as far as what to do about notifications, what my recommendation always is you have to weigh the apps that are important and urgent. So looking back at what Stephen Covey has to say here, looking at his grid, I got to read this book again. It's been a good 10 years, I think, since I've read this thing. Ooh, I just saw the name MacGyver in there. That dates this book, doesn't it? There it is. All right. So, he even addresses addictive activity. That's weird. Which is, the urgency addiction is actually the name of this chapter. So I want to look at what is urgent. All notifications are going to be urgent, but what you want to do is you would only want to turn on notifications for things that are also important. So quadrant 1 items. All right, so a quadrant 1 item to me is if the phone rings, that's why I have a phone, is to pick it up. Well, at least to see who it is. Sometimes you just kind of get sent to voicemail. But I need to see if the phone rings. So I got to do that. See if the phone rings. So that technically is a notification. So I have to turn that notification on. I want to see a text message that comes through. Okay. But, of course, if one person is annoying you with text messages, you can actually mute one individual person, at least on an iPhone. All right? But things like Facebook. Facebook is generally not an important thing. You should turn notifications off for anything like that, because you do not want to be at Facebook's mercy, especially if you get a notification because somebody showed your post. Okay? Somebody read your message. You do not need that type of notification. It's a useless waste of time. And then when the phone beeps, you instinctively, out of habit, want to pick it up and check what it is. And that's more time drawn into their app. And that is kind of the problem that we want to avoid. So you want to look at what is important, because a notification is always going to be urgent. But is it important or is it not important? If it is not important, if it is a news site, if it is a social media site, if it is something that is not related to something critically important in your life, you should turn those notifications off as a general rule of thumb. And then what you do then is that way, when I get the time and it's like, okay, now I want to waste some YouTube time, I can log into my app or into the phone, and I can then open the app up and check my notifications there right on the app. But I do not need it to ring through the phone. I don't need it to ring through my desktop. And I certainly don't need it to ring through my browser just because my browser happened to be there. All right. So that's kind of what we want to do, is evaluate every single application, every single program, and disable the notifications on everything that is not an important application. That's kind of the summary of the thing. All right. 10 apps on my phone. Most are free software / open source. Yeah, I'm trying to think. As far as extra installed applications, like I was trying to figure out how many applications are on a phone. It's like one's like 85 applications. Like that cannot be right, especially when everyone else was saying an average of 26. And so that one was just the basically just the I think the pre-install, the Android applications is what it was. So with that, I have installed on my iPhone here that does not come stock on the phone. I have my Geek apps, my OpenVPN, OwnCloud, and my IP camera viewer so I can check my security cameras. I have VLC because I refuse to use the built-in music application. I have the geocaching app, although I never really use it. I did install the YouTube app just when I did that live stream when the power was out, but I probably need to take it off because I don't like to use the apps on that. I have the Kindle installed, although I should probably get rid of that. I have 4 apps, 2 Bible apps, and 2 sermon apps from John MacArthur, R.C. Sproul are the sermon apps, and Bible Gateway and YouVersion for the Bible apps. I have Skype, Dave Ramsey, Firefox, and a banking app. That's all I have on my phone. And nothing's allowed to have notifications except for Skype. So Skype has the notifications and text messaging and phone calls. That's it. All right. Should I add Android KDE because I'm not... Oh, let's see. They really changed F-Droid. I've never used F-Droid. Can block people on iOS 10 in case I misheard you. No, you can do inside of a text message, you can click details and you can click a do not disturb, which will mute all notifications for an individual person. I have a lot of Android phones, mostly because I enjoy the ability to disable apps and services you do not want at all. Yeah, I think that's kind of my main selling point. Hello, Tommy Norwood. How are you? Just saw you coming on here. I love VLC. So do I. I like VLC because I do not have to download stuff to the phone when I'm on here. I can just click into VLC, click on the button, go to local network, and on local network, it finds my LAN right there. And that will give me access to everything inside my media server. So I have full access to my full media center with VLC. And actually on the iPhone, you can download things to your phone through that. On the Android, you cannot for some silly reason. Oh, notification I get is Gmail, calls, and text messages. There you go. That works. Such as Google services, Samsung services. Yeah, actually, there's some Google and Samsung services you cannot disable, which is absolutely annoying to me. Like, okay, please, Ryan, disable the parental services. Like, is it kid mode, I think? No! There is no minor that will be touching my phone. At least not one young enough that I'd be concerned about that. I do not need that stupid thing. Please turn it off. Not allowed. Yeah, VLC rocks. VLC doesn't love Linux, it seems. What do you mean VLC doesn't love Linux, it seems? I don't have any problems with it. Oh, boy. Let's see, anything else I want to talk about with notifications? I think that's about all I want to talk about with notifications. We have a short stream today. Wi-Fi sharing... All right, let me see if there's anything else I can do here. I do not think so. That was about it. That was what I had. Yeah, that's my final summary. Evaluate everything that you have as far as notifications. Turn off everything that's not important. You do not need to be at the mercy of the app creator, the website owner, the marketer, the advertiser. You do not need to be at their mercy. You need to go look at what they're doing, look at all that, and turn off all those notifications. Turn it all off. All right. Thinking of switching to Linux from Windows 10. Will I need to upgrade my PC too? Okay, the best thing that I would recommend, Tommy, is start with just getting an external hard drive, or a flash drive will work just fine. And if you're doing a flash drive or an external hard drive, just make sure it's a USB 3, because you can boot Linux perfectly fine off of an external drive. And that way you can keep your Windows computer completely intact, and you can get a Linux installation on top of that. And that way you can boot the computer off the flash drive so you can learn Linux without messing up the current computer. Now, if you're talking about a notebook or a laptop type computer, I've encountered one computer so far to date I have not been able to successfully boot off of a USB drive. And it was an HP on Windows 10, and they had the boot menu so locked down I couldn't access anything in there. So, and I'm not sure exactly why, but it was my computer, so I did not want to risk breaking it. So, but make sure if you are installing a Linux operating system on an external drive, it's always recommended that you take out the current hard drive just so that you do not accidentally write anything to that hard drive. I like keeping them all separate. And there's I have several videos on my channel which will show you how to do that very thing. As far as what type of computer it is, what are some of your computer specs? And we'll see if we can find a good Linux distro between myself and all the other people on the chat line here. Okay, I'm on a KitKat Samsung phone. It's kind of easy to disable more apps than on Lollipop, Marshmallow, and Nougat. Yeah. Yeah, the reason I don't like dual booting Piggy Uniform is because oftentimes the bootloaders and grub menus will interfere with each other. And I do successfully have one computer that does a true build like that, but it's not the most. I mean, the kitty's being cute. Look at that. Oh yeah. Is that good, kitty? All done. All right. All right. But anyway, I'm a little bit more leery with dual booting. I liked having the external hard drive as a separation point, personally. And it's a lot easier to manage as well. Could do what? Let me find one of the videos. What I did a video on my channel quite a long time ago called A Safer Dual Boot. That's not what I was looking for. Let me find that video and I'll post it in the comments there. Video manager. And the reason I like this option is you're keeping the hard drives separate from each other. Copy link address, and okay, so there's a link to that video there where I talk about the steps, how I did that. Now that was on a desktop computer where it's a little bit easier to get in there and take things out. But you can run Linux off of an external hard drive or off of an external USB drive. That way you do not have to mess with your Windows computer at all. You can still boot into Windows, no problem, but you can jump over to Linux when you want to as well. Remember the VLC programmer ranting against Linux to Linux users? I do not remember that. No idea. Let us know if you can find a link. That'd be cool. This comment thing on YouTube drives me crazy. It's like I'll scroll down to go one more comment down and it zooms down to the bottom of the thing. Ubuntu. Yeah, desktops are a little bit easier because like my desktop, I have 2 different hard drives in there, and I just, when you turn on the computer, push F12. Some computers it's F9, get into the boot menu, and then I can choose which one of the hard drives I boot off of. So it defaults to boot into Windows 8, although I always put it into Linux Mint. But in a desktop computer, it's a lot easier to just throw in a second hard drive, have one hard drive only running Windows, one hard drive only running Linux. That's what I'd recommend to do. And that safer dual boot video I just linked in there, that will actually show you exactly how I do that setup. First time I tried to install Linux on my current laptop, it was a nightmare because of the secure boot and BIOS configurations. That can be annoying. I usually try and turn off the secure boot just because I don't care. Different people have different opinions about that. Is there a problem with Unix time with dual booting? Yeah, what you do with that is you set your what the problem is that Linux-based operating systems generally use like the UDT, and your Windows operating systems will generally use the local time. And so if you are dual booting, unless you happen to be right there in UK or the Greenwich line, then you would have a problem where if you switch between the operating systems, then the clock will change by your difference between UDP. And so, or the GMT, whatever it happens to be. So what you actually can do is you can change the configuration file for Linux, and let me find the article there. So what you do is you just want to change the setting. Let's see. Okay. All right. So here is, and I just did a search. You can see it for Ubuntu dual boot clock settings. Pretty much every Linux distro, it is the same to fix this. The basic configuration is down here. You just want to make Linux use the local time, and that way it will maintain the clock the same as you boot between your different computers. So just come down here in your Linux configuration file, etc default RCS, and then look for the UTC equals yes. Just change your UTC to equals no, and then that will fix your clock problems. You can also do it here. Check your specific Linux distro, but this should work on most Debian-based systems at least. But that's what you'd want to do to fix the clock issue. And say like dual booting, I was responding to Tommy, dual booting seems messy to me. Yeah, I only have one computer that I do like what you'd call a true dual boot, means that the two different operating systems are on the same hard drive. You get a lot of potential problems doing that, and that's why I don't recommend that. But I do successfully have a computer running that, and I've even wiped the Linux partition and redid a new Linux partition. And last I knew, it still does load into Windows 10. Not that I ever really loaded over there, but it is an option should I actually need it. But the way I always like to run my Linux systems is just using external hard drives. That's actually why I built my the main studio computer I'm using here. The reason I built it the way I built it, the hard drives actually run the operating system from the front of the computer on an IC dock, so I can hot swap the hard drives prior to turning on the computer. Stupid YouTube thing. Fix that. Okay. Do you have a recommendation on a Linux distro for really old people? Something easy to run a web browser and nothing else. You might look at Elementary depending on your software or your hardware configuration. I find about 50% of people cannot successfully run Elementary, but Elementary is very easy and very light. So like it's kind of designed sort of like as a Mac looking thing, but it has very little stuff on it. Other than that, if you're used to how Windows works, Linux Mint's always good and it's pretty easy. But I'd stick with one of those, either an Elementary or Linux Mint. I would try those because they're both fairly easy to install, and they are fairly intuitive interfaces, and they don't do a whole lot else. Downside with Elementary is it comes with the Epiphany browser, not Firefox, and it's kind of slow. So you'd want to install Firefox. And that's kind of why I like Linux Mint. So that's kind of my thought on that. If I just put on my other hard drive, will it be okay? Yes, Tommy, that is what I would do. But you want to just pull the SATA cable on the first hard drive just to make sure you're not writing anything. Because what's going to happen is it's going to want to not only run the operating system, but it's going to want to run a bootloader. And by default, it usually wants to run the bootloader on the first hard drive. And so if the first hard drive is still plugged in, it's going to have the first hard drive runs a bootloader that can call the second hard drive. Well, then if the first hard drive happens to crash, you don't have a bootloader on the second hard drive. And while you can install one, it's a little bit more of a pain. So if you unplug the first hard drive, plug the second hard drive in, run your CD key, install it onto the second hard drive. Now each hard drive will have its own bootloader. And then you use the boot menu from BIOS by either pushing the F12 or the F9 key as you turn on the computer. That will give you a menu option to see which disk you want to run the bootloader from. And then that way I keep my Windows bootloader on the Windows hard drive, the Linux bootloader on the Linux hard drive, and I have no problems. It adds a few seconds to the speed of the loading the computer, but that's about it. But that's the absolute safest way to go, because if one hard drive goes corrupt, the other hard drive is perfectly fine. So that's what I would do with that. And that video that I linked actually shows you how to do all that kind of stuff. I was notified of this stream. Yes, I know. A lot of people were notified of this stream. It was this total peak of absolute irony. I cannot post links here. Can you... Okay, Google. We're not Googling here. We can start page, or we can do an internet search here, but we're not Googling. We're not Googling, man. Core VLC developer. Okay. I will see if I can find this, and I will put the link. If I can actually get my mouse working. Is this, I'm guessing this is Reddit. Let's see. Okay, is this the one you're looking at? Yes, hello TOS. I lost my place again. Like, tracking down the, like, scrolling through this comment bar on Google is, or on the YouTube here, is a pain. TOS made his own stream, just notified him of this one. All right. My working phone was compatible with Lineage OS. Do you have a video showing your main build hardware? Yes, I do. Let me see if I can find it. All right. Oh, yeah, I just did a search for computer on my list. That's probably going to give me a lot of things. There it is. Copy link address. Incoming, this is the link for the new computer. That's the computer I'm using right here. Struggling even with Windows, but that will have to do. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What are some of the other distros that have pretty much nothing installed on it? Elementary is not light. Yes, it is heavy. Elementary is heavy, but it does not come with a lot of stuff. And that's what I was looking for, is what distros do not come with a lot of stuff. And by the way, I hate Elementary, but I will still recommend it when I think it's the distro to use, because this is Linux and I love the choices, even if I hate it. Linux Mint Mate, that'd be a neat one to try. I'm actually having a really good time with my Ubuntu Mate. It's set up a little bit different, but that's pretty cool. Go for Elementary if your hardware is good enough. I have 5, 8 gigs of RAM. It runs Elementary amazing. Awesome. Yes, hi, Anna. Yes, we're late. We're pretty much done. Just wrapping up with comments and stuff. To us, same hard drive, and I have no problem. Yep, a lot of people can do that. Sometimes you'll get into challenges, and with Windows doing its own update thing, who knows what it's going to do. I mean, we've already determined that Windows 10, when it does its updates, can trash some of your existing software. What if it's like Linux? There's Linux on here. Kill it! Kill Linux! Because Windows rocks, you know? I think I should rename the channel, switch to Windows, and convince everybody to go back to Windows. Should we do that? Nah, let's not do that. Will I need to buy a Linux activation key? The answer is no. You do not need to buy a Linux activation key. Linux is free open source software for the most part, unless you're running like a Red Hat server or something. I think that you only pay for support, right? I don't know. I don't run any of those. But no, if you just go online, like Linux Mint would be a good one. Like Linux Mint Mate might be a good option. I'd start there and just go on. In fact, here, let me just go ahead and grab the page for that. That's the cool thing about Linux is if you are in the position to, I highly recommend to donate to them, but you do not actually otherwise have to pay for the software license. So there is the Linux Mint download. You'll see that on that page. Let me just transition over here. On this page, Cinnamon, this is the desktop I'm running right now, is Linux Mint Cinnamon. There's Mate, XFCE, and XFCE and KDE. KDE is a little bit more advanced. You probably don't want to run that one. Any of the other three are probably going to be fine. Mate is a pretty light, pretty easy to use desktop. So that's why a lot of people are saying try that one. So just come over here. You have to figure out, is it a 32 or 64-bit computer? If it's, newer than 15 years old, it's most likely 64-bit. So come over here, find a mirror that's closest to where your region is, download it, and don't forget to verify your image. Jeez. All right. Well, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. Hey, Red Falcon Run, how are you? Late to the live stream, but what was the topic? Notifications. I hate them with a passion. Yes, we were all about notifications. We were talking about being at the mercy of notifications. The entire purpose of a notification is to get you tied right back on into the site. So we pretty much wrapped it up about 20 minutes ago. We've been going through comments, but having a great time. And I don't know, I'll just keep going through comments at least until my tea's empty, but I'm still pretty full, so we're good. All right. Stream is going to become a comment stream. It already is. Albuntu, Solus, Neon, Arch, Androvos. Tried to use Elementary, didn't enjoy it. I did not either. Is, I'm guessing, Ubuntu a good place to start? The things about Ubuntu, it is a very rock solid distro, but the Unity desktop is a little bit different from most people are used to. So you're either coming from a Mac or you're coming from a Windows. The Unity desktop, well, I like a lot of parts of it. It's not quite as intuitive as it could be, which is why Cinnamon and Mate are other options. And Ubuntu, I'm running Ubuntu Mate. In fact, if you look at a couple of the videos, what was that video I did? Was that Thursday's video? I think it was Thursday's video looking at digital. Let's see, where's it at? Let me find that video. Come over here. Okay, so managing your digital life with Linux Ubuntu Mate. If you watch that video, then I'm actually recorded that video on on Ubuntu Mate, and that's a really good distro. The code base is very solid. It works on a wide variety of software or wide variety of hardware, so you're likely not going to have any installation problems. I like Linux Mint instead because it seems to work a little bit better on just as many configurations. It's based on Ubuntu. So you're not really going to go wrong with Ubuntu, but if you use the basic core Ubuntu Unity, it's going to be a little bit different than you're used to, but it's still a good distro. I mean, I like Ubuntu quite a bit. And that's kind of where a lot of Linux people kind of got their start. I wish I could install Arch. Why not? Why can't you? Very minimal. If you want to go little software pre-installed, go for Arch. Yeah, okay. The problem with going for Arch, though, with the minimal software, we're answering the question is, what is a good Linux distro for an older person that has trouble using the computer? Not Arch. Not Arch. That's not the answer to that question. But I was looking for a software, like a distro that does not have a lot of other software to get in your way. So something that you go into the menu and all you see is an email platform and a web browser and 2 or 3 other things. So that's what we were looking at, Liam. So I'm not sure that Arch, while Arch is certainly good as far as minimal software, it's not something for an older person, unless you get it all set up, of course, for them. Why do I like Peppermint? Well, I like Peppermint because actually I just like the interface. I like the ICE applications. Now, the only computer I'm running Peppermint on is my Lenovo. That's my Lenovo S21E. That's the one that runs Peppermint. And I really like that one because it's just, I used to run Ubuntu on that computer. It has 2 gigs of RAM. Ubuntu would run on it. It was a little sluggish. Peppermint runs perfect. That's why I like Peppermint. And if I didn't do Peppermint, I would have done MX16 or Linux Lite or something. But I like the color schemes and the theme layouts and the ICE packages in Peppermint. That's why I went with that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to say Linux Mint's the best place to start. That's what I use, and I use it because it works. Like I said, this computer here is Linux Mint, so that's good. Selling Arch now. If you don't know how, use the wiki. You can even use a YouTube video or 2. Yep. Hell no, Windows sucks. Yes, it does. I like the productivity, the layout of Windows is what I like, and that's why I like Linux Mint Cinnamon, because I can very easily set it up just like a Windows computer. So I am equally efficient on Linux Mint Cinnamon as I am on Windows. And like everything from clicking the start menu to pull up the applications, where things are at in the quick launches, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I do. Oh, come on, YouTube. I'm getting lost in my comment stream again. There we are. All right. Zorin Ultimate costs £15. I don't know what that is in the US, though. Yeah, I don't know. And that's just if you want to buy the extra themes to theme it up just like Windows, which I'm not a huge fan of, but the OS itself is just fine. Let's see. Is that... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. How am I not? I might be thinking of something else. I'm not recognizing the site unless they just did... a new site. Come on. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yep. Yeah, so the ultimate basically all it does is gives you a whole bunch more apps that you can download easily, and it gives you themes to theme it up just like a Linux or just like a Windows or a Mac computer. Zorin Ultimate costs, let's see, and I'm showing it as £19, or no, I'm sorry, I'm showing it as €19. Linux Mint KDE uses 2 old versions of KDE and they are unstable. I don't know. Mine's my Linux Mint KDE is very up to date. I'm not sure it's the absolute most up to date, but it's pretty up to date. Sleepwalking, Red Falcon Run, sleepwalking. I bet you're sleepwalking. Antergos and OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. Think are best. Yeah, that's what people keep saying. OpenSUSE for KDE is one of the best. That was actually the first time I saw KDE was OpenSUSE. And actually, my OpenSUSE distro though is running Enlightenment. I like Enlightenment, but it feels like it kind of feels like abandonware almost. But Enlightenment's cool though. I like it. Change it when debugging. Install had the file conflicts handling the same libraries multiple times. Huh. May I sub to this site? Absolutely, you may sub. The main channel is Switch to Linux. You should be able to find me pretty easy over there. For Linux starters, I'd recommend Ubuntu Mate. Yeah, I would go with Ubuntu Mate. I'd have no objections there. I've really, like I said, I've been using Ubuntu Mate recently to do archiving. I still have tons more archiving to do, but I'm still doing archiving, and I think by next Saturday my video capture card will be here, so now I can finally get all my VHS tapes on the digital format. And if I can make that work in Ubuntu Mate, then I'm going to do videos on that because that'll be awesome. I want to get rid of all the VHS tapes, the VCR, all that old crap. I don't want to leave it laying around anymore, so doing that. Ubuntu 12.04 was my first distro. Yeah, I think Ubuntu 11. I think it was maybe 11.04 was mine. Used Ubuntu as my first. Yep, Ubuntu Mate's rock solid, has a welcome stream, which is awesome. Yes, I agree. The only thing I did not like about Ubuntu Mate is I do not like the default applications menu they gave you, but you can easily drop in the other one, which is way better. But other than that, I'm enjoying it. KDE for me, too many settings and features. It takes a while to get KDE working right. Now I have it working right. I love it, but it is a project. It took me a week to get my KDE computer working right. Didn't work for a desktop since it was an e-machine. I remember e-machines. They were scary. Remember when Linux was full of driver issues. Creative Sound Blaster hated it. I think Creative Sound Blasters hated drivers, though. Just to be fair. All right, another person started with Ubuntu. We all started with Ubuntu. Using Ubuntu since 9.10. I wanted to install Arch natively when I had some free time. Nice. Ubuntu Mate gives me unexpected errors. Aw, that's sad. Linux Mint is solid. I agree. That's why I went with Linux Mint for this computer. It's just solid. I was 7. I kept downloading random crapware from download.com on that e-machine computer when it had Windows Vista. I bet that thing was not working right. Good topic, brain hacking on 60 Minutes. Where's my hatchet? I should get one of those little hatchet things for these sessions. Right? Or an arrow or something. With Ubuntu, I can't install my net printer, but with Mint, I found my printer fast. Yeah, I can't get my Brother printer installed on this without going online and grabbing the drivers for it, but otherwise, it's good. Easy Linux. Eventually filled up with so much I had to replace it with too expensive Mac computer. Even with the new... Well, Ryan, now you can... The cool thing is you can just take out the hard drive and restart with a new one. Even with their fancy new driverless printing. $19.33 USD, huh? Zorin Core Free has Windows 7 XP GNOME 3 layouts. Ultimate adds a lot more apps and Mac OS themes and other themes. Yep. Mint KDE is the most buggied software I tried. I agree it's a little buggy. I put up with it. I don't like the look of Enlightenment. All right. We're going to disagree. I think Enlightenment looks cool. Isn't OpenSUSE for Enterprise? I don't know. I did an OpenSUSE challenge a while back, and I used OpenSUSE for a month on Enlightenment. And actually, that's the reason I keep that distro around is it actually has a VirtualBox of Windows 10 going in there that I can use to play with some Windows 10 stuff. OpenSUSE's philosophy, and might adopt it as my daily driver. Yeah, their philosophy is good. I like it. Brian Lunduke is or was on the board of OpenSUSE as well. Mint KDE uses Kubuntu backport repros, has an outdated version of Qt. Okay. OpenSUSE destroyed my laptop. Uh-oh. KDE Neon on it. Ubuntu 10 was my first distro. 30 minutes to get my KDE Antergos set up how I want. Alright. Wish Software Boutique would work on Linux Mint. Oh, more notifications. I gotta stop for notifications on my stream about notifications. All right, let's see. E-machine is shot. I killed the power supply. Almost sparked into flames. Ah! Fun. SUSE Linux Enterprises, though. Okay, so there's a difference there. Okay. Huge paperweight. Well, I have a like a 300-watt power supply here I can get rid of. Elected board member. Oh, he's an elected board member. Awesome. Stop them for notifications. All right. Hey, we have gotten to the bottom of the comment stream. I think it's probably a good time to wrap this one up. So, yeah, if you missed it, it was a little bit shorter of a tinfoil hat time session today, but the comment stream was a blast. Anyway, you know, my basic wrapped up comments is turn off notifications on anything that's not important because you want to plan your life. Do not let some other app owner plan your life for you. So that's kind of my final take home. So I actually have right now, I have this really adorable kitty, and I think what we might do is we will end the stream. We will go ahead and end the stream by feeding the kitty some kitty treats. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we will wrap this bad boy up. We'll have to watch this cuteness. You are getting sleepy or playful or hungry, one of the two. Or 3 or 4. Yeah, there you go. There you go, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Yep. I got one more to feed here, and then we'll wrap her up. All right. Look at this one right here. There you go. Yeah, we're going to give you a little kitty treat. There's your kitty treat. Right there. There, kitty treat. Ooh, kitty treat. All right, there we go. Good night, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful time. What do you mean organize those cables? Those cables are perfectly organized. I just actually got them organized. There just happens to be 700,000 of them over there. They are very organized. I'll do a full thing on you there. All right, we'll see everybody later. Have yourself a wonderful evening. And let's see, what is it? Sunday. Sometime this week, I'm going to do Browser Wars. I might do it live streamed. Not completely sure yet, but we'll see what's going on. So have a good night, everybody.